Ladies, gentlemen, one and all, welcome to the next in the F.E.A.R series, F.E.A.R 2, not Project Origin, that's what the title screen says, but this is F.E.A.R 2 Reborn. This video will not contain any gameplay. This is purely a recap of the story so far. Please note that this summary will contain a great dose of sarcasm. This does not mean that I hate it. This is just my brand of humor, for lack of a better word. Also, please note this summary will contain brief mentions of some rather sensitive topics that may be distressing for some people, such as child abuse and sexual assault. It is not described in any great detail, but if that sort of thing does upset you, then please feel free to skip this summary. I will warn you, though, the game itself may very well broach these topics, so just a forewarning there. Anyway, on to the recap. A man working at generic evil company number 782, Armacam Technology Corporation, named Harlem Wade, had a daughter by the name of Alma Wade. Alma was psychic, so her father decided to do all sorts of evil science experiments on her to see if those powers had military use. Eventually, Wade and his team decided to forcefully impregnate Alma, pre-age of consent, mind you. She was about 15 at the time. And she gave birth to 2 prototypes, not together, like, separately. Although Alma was in a medically induced coma during their growing up, Alma managed to psychically merge with the second prototype, known as Paxton Fettel. This caused a synchronicity event, and made Fettel kill a load of people. The project was shut down, and eventually Alma's life support was removed. Her body died, but she's psychic, and this is a horror game, so her spirit stuck around, and eventually she managed to trigger a second synchronicity event, causing Fettel to go rogue. Now in control of at least 1,000 super soldier clones, he decided to go around norming Armacam employees until he could find and release his mother. Long story short, a team called First Encounter Assault Recon is sent in, with Alma's first child, very creatively called Point Man, pursuing Fettel, and hijinks ensue, culminating in Fettel letting himself get shot in the face, or in my case, punched and then ragdolling in a ridiculous fashion in my playthrough of the first game. Harlan Wade, who kind of felt bad for being a terrible father, and so he should, released Alma, who, needless to say, wasn't very happy to see him. She kind of exploded him, realised who Point Man was, and then tried to give him a very nice motherly hug. Unfortunately, her touch would have exploded him, so Point Man repeatedly shot her and ran away. He fled the facility after setting the reactor to detonate, causing a nuclear explosion which pretty much destroyed the entire city. At least as far as I could tell. Then some other shit happened across 2 expansion packs, but that's not canon, so I'm just going to skip it. In F.E.A.R 2, you play as Beckett, who was a member of a different team sent in to retrieve Armacam's President Genevieve Aristide. This goes about as well as you'd expect. The nuclear explosion that Point Man set off happens, and then Aristide ends up enrolling, in massive inverted commas, Beckett and his team into Project Harbinger. This gives him powers that just so happen to manifest in the same way as Point Man, and causes a psychic link to form between him and Alma. Alma, who's now wandering around after being freed by her father, and technically Point Man, but it was mainly her father, She takes an interest in this new person and eventually decides that she has the hots for him for some reason. More hijinks ensue as Ulmer pursues Beckett, who is pursuing Aristide with what's left of his team, dealing not only with reactivated Replica, but ATC mooks. In the end, Aristide locks Beckett and Ulmer in a fancy dome, with Beckett strapped to a chair. Ulmer decides the best course of action to satisfy her sudden cock craving is to sexually assault Beckett while keeping him in the nightmare world. Although Beckett does break free eventually, Ulmer has already got what she wanted. She ended up pregnant again, but this time at least she actually wanted it. I mean, how the fuck she managed that while still being a walking corpse and therefore incapable of producing A, natural lubricant, and B, eggs for, like, fertilization, is just hand-waved away because, you know, wibbly-wobbly game logic. And yeah, that basically concludes the summary of the plot so far. So, let's see where this game starts us off, shall we?